India. Birthplace of a civilization that is over 5,000 years old. A land where ancient traditions live side by side with a dynamic modern society. This spectacular aerial journey captures this unique nation's incredible sights from above for the first time. It shows how ancient festivals still dictate the rhythms of life here, and how Indians are forging new traditions today. From the drive to make democracy work for everyone in a nation of over 1 billion people, to ensuring ancient skills and techniques are preserved for future generations. Our bird's eye view reveals how this nation is embracing its past to forge its future. India. Home to 1.3 billion people. A secular nation where multiple faiths have thrived over centuries. This is the birthplace of the world's oldest surviving religion, Hinduism. Scholars believe the roots of Hinduism lie in ancient texts written over 4,000 years ago. In India, water has been worshipped since time immemorial, and no river is more sacred to India's nearly 1 billion Hindus than the river Ganga, known outside of India as the River Ganges. This river has shaped the religious landscape of India for thousands of years, and still exerts its influence over millions of Indians. One of the most revered parts of the river is at Prayagraj, 448 miles southeast of India's capital city, Delhi. This is the confluence of 3 holy rivers, the Ganga, the Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati. The last one an invisible river existing in mythology. Hindus believe the holy waters of these rivers washes away all mortal sins. This belief makes Prayagraj one of 4 holy sites chosen to host the world's largest religious gathering, the Kumbh Festival. Every 6 years, millions of pilgrims flock here in search of salvation. When they come, a temporary city, 2/3 the size of Manhattan, springs up on these riverbanks. And with this many people packed into an area of over 12 square miles, stampedes are always a risk. previous Kumbh Melas reporting a number of deaths due to overcrowding, the task of ensuring the safety of the pilgrims falls on the 20,000 police officers deployed at Prayagraj, especially for this festival. How is it possible to monitor the welfare of the 220 million people expected to attend the 50-day-long Kumbh? Deputy Inspector General K.P. Singh pioneers a modern solution to this ancient problem.
This time we have used more than 1,000 plus cameras. So we tried to incorporate technology with the best people. So it was a new experiment altogether.
In the control room, Singh's team uses artificial intelligence to analyze the live feeds from over 1,000 fixed and drone cameras positioned around the festival. This allows them to watch over pilgrims across the whole site around the clock. The technology uses an algorithm which measures the number of pilgrims in real time in specific areas and analyzes crowd densities. It raises soft alerts for more than 3 people per square meter and strong alerts for more than 5. This helps inform the team about the areas in danger of becoming overcrowded. Singh uses this data to instruct his teams on the ground which manage crowds, eliminating bottlenecks and averting injury. After 50 days of festivities, darkness falls on the last day of the Kumbh festival. The pilgrims launch hundreds of burning lamps into the sacred rivers, Ganga and Yamuna. High above, the drone technology takes to the night sky for a special display. They spell out the phrase Kumbh 2019 together with the 3 colors of the Indian national flag. This modern-day spectacle marks the end of the largest religious gathering in the world. From traditions that date back to over a millennia, to the millennials bringing in the new year with a modern celebration, India is a land of festivity. Come December, a festival begins to heat up on the world-famous beaches of Goa on the west coast. Asia's largest EDM festival, Sunburn. An event where fans, world-famous DJs, and top EDM performers from around the globe come together for a larger-than-life celebration. After Sunburn takes over the beaches of Goa at the end of the year, another festival begins in the spring that unites Indians of almost all faiths. We travel from the southwest to the northern region of India. It's a warm afternoon in the town of Nangal. A view from the air reveals a group of young men winding their way through the narrow passages in the town. A crowd of women waits for them in the main square. Each woman is armed with a long stick called a lati. When the men arrive, the women use their latis to beat them. This symbolic act is part of a day-long celebration in Nangal that marks the beginning of the festival of Holi every year. It's early evening in the northern town of Nangal, where a unique ritual is playing out. This is Latmar Holi. It began as a retelling of a famous Hindu legend. A love story between Lord Krishna and the maiden Radha. Krishna is believed to have blue-colored skin. The story goes that Krishna and his friends visit the village where Radha lives. Krishna smothers her in pigment to try and change the color of her skin. Radha fights back. She and her friends beat Krishna with sticks and drive him from the town. The modern inhabitants of Nangal, the village where Lord Krishna spent his childhood, recreate this tale of a youthful prank in their playful stick-beating ritual. Nangal erupts in a kaleidoscope of color. Neighbors throw handfuls of pigment at each other to celebrate the ancient legend. Age, gender, and nationality disappear under a blanket of colors. Scenes like these can be found across the subcontinent during the week of Holi. As people come together in a fun celebration that coincides with the start of spring. Like the festivals which bind together India's citizens, the desire for progress transcends borders of states and culture. The Indian space program is a source of great pride for the nation. From its launch pad in the city of Sriharikota, the Indian Space Research Organization has sent missions to both the Moon and Mars. The modern drive to build vessels to explore new horizons springs from the nation's ancient roots. One source of this passion for engineering can be found on India's west coast in the city of Veeraval. Indians have fished from boats here for centuries. Bird's eye view reveals Veeraval is still a busy fishing port today. Many of these boats are made from fiberglass. A few are wooden, built by carpenters who use techniques honed over centuries. Mansoor Qureshi comes from a long line of shipbuilders that has always made boats the old way.
वाहन बनाने में 7 पीढ़ी चला गया हमारा, तो लकड़ी का जहाज हो या लकड़ी का बोट हो, फिशिंग, ये हम ही बना रहे हैं, हमारा कुटुंब ही बना रहा है, दूसरा कुछ कोई बना नहीं रहा है अभी तक। मैं लकड़ी से ही काम पूरा करूंगा और मेरे बच्चे को भी लकड़ी का ही काम सिखाऊंगा मैं।
Mansoor builds wooden boats of all shapes and sizes for high-profile clients with traditional tastes. His vessels range from 40 to over 1,500 tons in capacity. This week, the pressure is on Mansoor and his team. They must complete this huge fishing boat called a dhow in the next 7 days before the high tide arrives. Miss the tide because of delays, and Mansoor will have to push back delivery to his client by a month.
ये धावे अभी 3 साल से बनाता है हम। ये सबसे बड़ा जहाज है लकड़ी का, ये 1500 टन का वाहन है। आदमी लोग इसमें 25 से 30 आदमी काम करता है। उसमें बनाने में बहुत तकलीफ होता है ये चीज़ को अभी, लेकिन फिर भी बनाता है क्योंकि हमारे खून में ये चीज़ है।
Today, Mansoor must check the boat's hull one final time to make sure it's ready for launch. Every wooden panel and every joint must be perfect. Defects must be repaired. Mansoor's team cannot risk late delivery to the client. The hull of a vessel like this one starts as a single piece of wood called a keel. Craftsmen make a frame to support the boat's shape using large planks of wood. Then, the last layer of wood which makes the outer skin of the boat is fitted on. Mansoor's team of skilled workers uses only nuts and bolts to put this dhow together. Mansoor finishes his inspection. The boat's hull is perfect. The build is right on schedule for floating and delivery to the client. In an age when India has the technology to launch missions into space, this nation is careful to preserve the unique techniques pioneered by its past. India is one of the fastest growing economies in the industrialized world. And its population is predicted to increase 20% to 1.5 billion by 2030. This growth will stretch India's energy infrastructure to its limits. To meet future demand, India has an ambitious plan to boost the amount of energy it generates from renewable sources by 40% before the end of the decade. Gamoti, in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, receives an average of more than 7 hours of sunshine every day, making it an ideal place to build such an epic solar farm. And this monumental power plant is best seen from above. $2.5 million solar panels combine to generate 648 megawatts of clean energy. Enough to power about 150,000 homes, this is one of the largest solar power plants on Earth.
The entire project is spread across 2,500 acres of land. If I have to give an analogy, that land means 950 Olympic-sized football grounds. This plant has 38,000 pile foundations and 30,000 structural steel.
The solar farm needs to run at close to maximum efficiency to meet demand. For this, Anil Gupta and his team must make sure nothing prevents the sunlight from reaching the panel's photovoltaic cells. Anil assigns a team of 20 grass cutters to remove tall foliage that could throw shadows over the solar panels. But the hot, rural location creates another big problem: dust. Layers of dust settle on the panels each day, which could impede efficiency. Using water jets to clean the panels takes too long and is too labor-intensive. So Anil deploys a solution. "25 giant robotic mops. Each spins at 100 revolutions per minute. A solar-powered motor moves them vertically up and down a rectangular frame attached to a row of solar panels. Once a section is cleaned, the frame slides along automatically to the neighboring panel. It takes one mop around 2 hours to clean a row of solar panels 803 feet long. The robotic mops work every day to ensure this solar farm captures the natural, renewable resources India needs to meet its energy demands.
India is poising to become a part of $5 trillion economy by the year 2025, and today we are at 2.7. So we have to grow. As India grows, our power demand will also grow, and to reduce our carbon footprints, we believe solar project is one of the most promising area.
India is one of the youngest nations on Earth, with more than 65% of its population under the age of 35. They honor the past while bringing innovation to all areas of modern life, from business and technology to sport and big events, building new traditions for the future. One of the most extreme sports events takes place over 2,000 miles from Gamoti in India's northernmost territory. Ladakh is one of the most remote places on Earth. A view from above reveals a cold, desert landscape of high plains and deep valleys. In the distance are the peaks of the mighty Himalayas, the youngest mountain range on the planet. This unforgiving terrain is now the setting for one of the world's toughest sporting events. It's 2:50 a.m. A group of athletes stands at the start line of the Kungla challenge. Started in 2012, it's an ultra-marathon held across some of the most breathtaking yet grueling landscapes of Ladakh. Shabir Hussain was born and raised in this region. He has won the challenge 2 years running. Can he make it 3 in a row today? The Kungla Challenge is a 44.7-mile ultra-marathon across some of the world's highest and most demanding terrains. It is a new sporting festival for the 21st century. Shabir Hussain has emerged victorious 2 years in a row. Today, he hopes to make it 3.
एक्चुअल में रन जो है दिल और दिमाग से दौड़ना होता है तो ये सोच में रहना चाहिए कि मैं फिनिश करूंगा किसी भी हालत में
3 a.m.
3, 2, 1, go!
The race begins. The challenge is divided into 4 legs as it winds its way through the mountains between the villages of Kardung and Leh. The first leg stretches 20 miles and climbs 4,580 feet to the top of Kardungla mountain. Shabir must run up one of the highest paved roads in the world in almost complete darkness to get there.
इस देश में मुझे सबसे टॉप लगता है यहाँ से नॉर्थ पोल से के टॉप तक क्योंकि उधर मौसम चेंजिंग होते रहता है तो ज़्यादा सर्दी होता है तो भाग नहीं पाते.
Our bird's eye view captures the spectacular and rugged terrain that lies ahead. During the winter months, temperatures here drop to about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Such extreme weather conditions sometimes isolate Ladakh from the rest of the country. The marathon is held in September, just before winter. Here, in Kardungla, the temperature is approximately 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Shabir begins the second leg of the race. It's a distance of 8.8 miles to the village of South Bulu. Thick patches of ice nestle in the folds of the rough mountainsides. The atmosphere here contains 50% less oxygen than at sea level.
The biggest challenge that runners feel, especially people who are coming from outside Ladakh, is the elevation. You know, running at over 17,000 feet, it's absolutely, you know, something people will not imagine.
By the time Shabir starts the third leg of the race, high altitude, low oxygen and extreme temperature changes push some athletes past their limits.
Water. Water.
In extreme circumstances, athletes can develop life-threatening forms of acute mountain sickness. Shabir stays focused on his objective. His final destination is Leh, 8.3 miles away. At the finish line in Leh Market, a crowd is waiting. Shabir and a fellow competitor are neck and neck when they turn into the home straight. Six hours and 53 minutes after he set off, Shabir Hussain makes history, becoming the first person ever to win the Kungla challenge 3 years in a row.
इस साल फाजा के मैं बहुत खुश हूँ क्योंकि इस साल फाजा मेरे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी था क्योंकि इससे पहले मैं 2 बार जीत चुका हूँ तो इस साल मेरा हैट्रिक था.
This race welcomes competitors from across the world. 120 athletes out of the 142 that started the race complete the challenge. They can take pride in finishing one of the world's highest ultramarathons. India is the second most populous nation in the world. While nearly 1/3 of its population lives in cities, a majority live in over 500,000 villages. And once every 5 years, rural and urban India come together to elect a federal government. From the high mountains to the dense forests in the country, no matter where one resides, the Election Commission of India makes sure that each registered voter can cast their vote. The forest of Gir in the western state of Gujarat is one of the most wild and remote places in all of India. An abundance of deciduous trees stretches to the horizon. This temple is the only visible sign of human habitation for miles around. Home to 69-year-old priest Bharat Das Darshan Das. He lives here alone with only the wildlife for company.
यहाँ शेर दीपड़ा सब कुछ रहता है, उसके अंदर मैं भी रहता हूँ.
His social interactions are limited to a house help and the occasional devotee who visits his forest temple bearing gifts of grain, fruit and vegetables, which are his main source of sustenance through the year. The Priest Solitude is broken once every 5 years by an event that unites the whole of India in one purpose: the Indian national election. In 2019, around 900 million Indians aged 18 and over have the right to decide who should govern the country. That number of eligible voters is larger than the combined population of the United States and the European Union. It makes India the world's largest democracy. And voting is a right that Mahant Bharat Das Darshan Das holds dear.
जब तक मैं रहूँगा तब तक मैं किया जाऊँगा और देश के लिए ही करूँगा ना, तो देश का भी कुछ भला होगा और अपना भी कुछ भला होगा.
To ensure that the lone priest can cast his vote, these election commission officials travel deep inside the Gir forest to prepare a polling station. They are part of an army of election commission employees who set up over 1 million voting booths across the country. Making sure that there is a voting booth erected for every 1.2 miles of land. Mahant Bharatdas Darshandas casts his vote. The election official marks his nail with indelible ink, a device to ensure no one can vote twice. The priest then starts his journey back to the temple, continuing his life of solitude. Delhi, a modern metropolis with a history that dates back more than 2,000 years. A city that has been built and rebuilt 9 times. It has served as the national capital for over 100 years. Every year on the 26th of January, Delhi celebrates India's traditions and achievements in a show right in the heart of the city. This is the Republic Day Parade. Over 100,000 spectators line the Rajpath, a ceremonial street, to watch India's grandest procession. Nearly 40 million Indians watch it on live TV. Along with the different regiments from the Indian Armed Forces, there is one unit that really stands out. The Camel contingent of the Indian Border Security Force. Every Camel contingent soldier considers riding in the Republic Day Parade a great honor.
ये हमारे सीमा सुरक्षा बल के लिए बहुत ही गौरव और गर्व का विषय है और हमारे भारतवर्ष में ही नहीं पूरे विश्व में भी इसकी पूरी प्रशंसा की जाती है और इसको लोग बहुत ही चाव से देखते हैं.
The unit must ride the 4.2 miles of the procession route in perfect formation. Guaranteeing a good show rests on ensuring that only the best camels and riders take part in India's most important parade. "354 miles southwest of Delhi is the Camel contingent's barracks at Jodhpur. Here, Deputy Commandant Ghanshyam Singh puts both soldiers and camels through a rigorous training program to find the most accomplished man-animal teams. Physical fitness is critical to ensuring a flawless performance. All riders and camels must demonstrate they are parade ready.
सबसे पहले तो जो कैमल हैंडलर है वो चुस्त दुरुस्त और फिट फॉर होना चाहिए, बिलो 40 होना चाहिए ताकि वो उनको साथ सभी तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ में अच्छे से उसको ट्रेन कर सके और खुद भी अपना उसके साथ तारतम्य या कोऑर्डिनेशन ठीक से बिठा सके।
Soldiers and camels must also master gymnastic routines to show they have the poise and precision to ride in tight formations. Riders strengthen this bond with their camels through a meticulous routine that they follow. Every day, riders remove sand from their camels' eyes, scrub their coats, and remove pests. Regular rest for animals and trainers is important too. An ethical concern for some animal activists, the use of camels in the Republic Day parade remains an important cultural ceremony for the Indian Armed Forces. The best camels and riders win their place in the parade by showcasing their skills in a specially choreographed display. Every camel and rider must perform impeccably. The smallest hesitation is enough to cost them their place in the parade. The pressure is on. After months of training, camels and riders transition seamlessly between formations. Every man-animal team keeps perfect time. Not one misses a step or a cue. With the training complete, the camel contingent is all set to march at the next Republic Day parade. Flying over India, our bird's-eye view reveals a nation moving forward while embracing its unique traditions. Artificial intelligence is helping to make sacred festivals safer for millions of people. Master craftsmen are keeping ancient construction techniques alive for future generations. This is a land where the achievements of the past are still inspiring the Indians of today.